Wouldn't it be nice to have several thought leaders in your industry know and love your brand? Start a podcast. Invite your industry's thought leaders to be guests on your show, and start reaping the benefits of having a network full of industry influencers. Learn more at sweetfishmedia.com.
You're listening to B2B Growth, a daily podcast for B2B leaders. We've interviewed names you've probably heard before, like Gary Vaynerchuk and Simon Sinek, but you've probably never heard from the majority of our guests. That's because the bulk of our interviews aren't with professional speakers and authors. Most of our guests are in the trenches leading sales and marketing teams. They're implementing strategy. They're experimenting with tactics. They're building the fastest growing B2B companies in the world. My name is James Carberry. I'm the founder of Sweetfish Media, a podcast agency for B2B brands, and I'm also one of the co-hosts of this show. When we're not interviewing sales and marketing leaders, you'll hear stories from behind the scenes of our own business. We'll share the ups and downs of our journey as we attempt to take over the world. Just kidding. Well, maybe. Let's get into the show.
Welcome back to the B2B Growth Show. We're here today with Chris Handy, Customer Marketing Leader at Drift. Chris, how are you doing today, man?
Hey, I'm doing great, Logan. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. As we record this, we're sitting here in Drift's backyard in Boston.
That's right.
We are recording at the Flip My Funnel conference, and you're getting ready to present here in just a little bit, right?
Yeah, probably in a couple of hours here. So we stole off some time and found a back room. I think there's a mop bucket right over here. So hopefully we don't get kicked out.
Hey, we found a quiet spot for the podcast interview. That's all that matters.
That's all
right?
that matters.
Right? The audience will find their way to it.
I'm just kidding. It's much nicer in here than that.
All right. Well, we are going to talk about humanizing sales chat in a world of bots, which you're getting ready to present on. There'll probably be places people can find this chat elsewhere online after the fact.
Sure.
But walk us through what you're going to be talking about and breaking down that concept for us.
Sure. So they gave me 10 minutes to tell people about how to do conversational marketing, basically, and balance the human side of chat and bots and all of this stuff. And we get a lot of fear from people that are worried about how do we deal with chat bots? When do we jump in and what's going on? So really trying to help people understand how to balance the two things and do that in 10 minutes. So I sat down and I did what all good people do and Google talking points, right? How to build talking points, because I had to turn those into Nikki. And I found a great web page that said, look, boil it down to just a couple of things that people can walk away with. So I did that. And I think these are a couple of things that people already know, Logan, that they can really just sort of uncover and start to use again, that maybe we've forgotten because we get so deep in our own stuff and start using our own words all the time. And we're responding to emails and it's just so easy to get sucked in to the vibe of our own business that we forget that people out there are just trying to figure out how to get through their day.
Right.
And it's easier than it seems. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So there's three things that they're going to be in the talk and we could talk through a couple of them if you want.
Yep. So the first one we've talked about a little bit in the past. Right. And again, as you mentioned, is something that we're probably already thinking about, but that's in the area of response time. So tell us your main takeaway there that people need to be thinking about in this world of bots.
Right. So, I mean, if you don't know that the reason people are asking you a question or are on your site is because they have something that they need to accomplish right now. So if you put them through an experience where they're waiting days, weeks, or maybe never to get a response, then that's not helping them do anything. It's certainly not helping you meet your quota or get your number or however it is that you're measured. It's not helping you keep your job or grow the company, right? So how do we get in front of those people when they need it, right? Now. So responding faster is just something we need to do. Now, we talked a lot about fast response time on a previous episode when I was
Right.
talking with James, right? So you can refer back to that for literally how to be a fast responder as a human, right? And we talked a lot about pulling out your phone, using your phone as your ultimate whip, right? Like I think about Indiana Jones's whip as his weapon. I think about literally like, how can I use my iPhone as my sales whip? So now we have these bots, right? How can bots help alley-oop that response time and be there when I can't be there in 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
It's not as instant as being there just in the next 5 seconds when they ask a question. But look, if a bot can help in 30 seconds, help people understand that you're on the way, or if the bot can do the job of ending their journey or their search for an appointment or whatever it is they're trying to accomplish, then we've done the job. So
Right.
that's the important thing, is make sure that you have something set up that's a fast responder.
Right. And so your next advice to people is basically let the bot be a bot and you be you.
That's
which
right.
kind of goes into that alley-oop analogy that you're talking about there. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Right. So like set up a minimum viable bot. And I'm going to talk a little bit about, right? People talk about an MVB, right?
All right.
Minimum viable bot. We see people trying to, like, they design this complicated bot before they ever launch anything. Like the important thing is just to get something up, right? Most of the use cases for bots at the beginning, especially, are get more sales appointments, qualify leads, that sort of thing. These are very simple use cases to get up right now, right? In fact, at Drift, we've got just plug and play bots you can get started with. It customize the language slightly, but you're not setting up any new logic. So you're just setting it up, get it going, and then see how it fails for you. I wouldn't expect it to fail too terribly much, but what's going to happen is people are going to ask a question, and then you're going to learn something new that you hadn't thought about before. You cannot predict every possibility. So don't try and jump in and save the bot every time somebody engages with it, right? Just let it do its thing. Okay. And when they ask or they kind of navigate that way for a live conversation, be that person that's there. But when they don't, let it do its thing. You can always reach back out to these people because in many cases they're being identified, and just improve the bot over time, because what we're really looking to do is add a second shift and a third shift of ourselves and repeat ourselves over and over. We're trying to scale us, but we can't do that if we don't know what us is.
Right.
Because humans, we make decisions on the fly, thousands and hundreds of thousands of decisions on the fly. But if we don't start to codify some of those decisions by using our learnings and improving the bot, we'll never know what they are.
Right. So if you're jumping in too soon, you're actually short circuiting that learning,
right?
And you're reducing you're keeping yourself from really scaling and being able to use that bot more effectively.
That's right. In the early days, watching it fail is a good thing, so that you can evolve it every day and take some time, 5-10 minutes every day, see how we can improve this bot. Not a bad way to get going.
Yeah.
It's story time, and this growth story is about search engine marketing. Okay, so the story revolves around eSub, a project management SaaS company specifically for subcontractors. Even though eSub had incredible customer retention, they struggled with growth. Being a niche service, they discovered that there was little demand expressed for their solutions within search engines. To take on this challenge, eSub hired Directive Consulting, the B2B search marketing agency. After refining targeting, pre-qualifying clicks within ad copy, and developing custom landing pages, Directive was able to increase eSub's marketing qualified leads by 71%, while decreasing their cost per lead by 65%. I have a hunch that Directive can get these kind of results for you too. So head over to directiveconsulting.com and request a totally free custom proposal. That's directiveconsulting.com. All right, let's get back to this interview.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. I think you're probably seeing a lot of people that want to get everything perfect before they launch
over-engineer it, have a big reveal, say, hey, we've got the perfect bot, and then they get disappointed if something isn't set up right. Well, it's not going to be all perfect, right? Life doesn't work that way. Yeah. We can't predict every possibility. Yeah. So let's just accept that fact, get it going. make it a very single purpose bot, and then look for how people try to use it, and then build ways for it to work better.
Follow your customers along. I like that. So the last thing that you were talking about is, okay, now you're ready to jump in and you're thinking about how am I messaging, and your tagline is, messaging ain't email. So tell us about some of the mistakes you see maybe people are making, or some of the assumptions people are making when they're jumping into using conversational marketing and this type of messaging for the first time, and where they could take better advantage of this platform to enhance their messaging.
Right. People think way too hard about responding to a message that comes in. If you ever sent a text message and waited days for a response, or worse, watched the little typey thing, the little typey thing?
Little 3 dots.
So it's going for a while, and it's like, so you keep your phone out and you're kind of watching because you think it's going to come, like the next response in the conversation, but then it stops. And then a second later, it starts again, and it's furiously typing again. And it's just, wow, they are still typing. Mm-hmm. Can you believe it? What are they typing here? It's some epic email. And we don't like that in text messaging, and we certainly don't like that in a business context. So the best response to an incoming question is something like, hey. And I mean that absolutely literally. It could be in your business voice. It might be hi, right? Maybe it's not as casual as hey, if you don't want to be quite so bold. I like to use the words business casual, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, right now I'm wearing jeans and a jacket, a blazer, and that's fine for me. Right. In most cases, I can show up. I'm from Texas with an excuse saying, "Look, I don't know any better," right? So that tends to work. But whatever it is for you, but it's not about the words you choose. It's that you choose to split them up and have less words in each message and far more messages. So if you're going to ship off 18 sentences, make it 18 different messages, right? So say, hi, that's a great question. Send that. I'm going to get the answer for you. Here you go. And little things like, it's never, I don't know. It's what a great question. I'm going to go get that answer, right? Mm-hmm. Those are completely two different contexts. If you send in a note to a company and they say, I don't know, it's like, what if they log off right now and they never come back?
Right. That's the end of that conversation.
Yeah. They'll tell people that, they don't even know what they're doing over there. Mm-hmm. But if you said, look, that's a great question. I'm going to go find out. Then there's never any confusion that you were going to try and solve that problem, even if they have logged off.
So, and they've got instant gratification
and
feedback as opposed to seeing the typing bubbles.
Right.
Yeah, while they go and find the answer.
If people know you're on this, that's all you have to do. Just let them know you're on this, and just make sure that you continue that communication. And you could say, hey, look, I'm going to walk away from the computer for 5 minutes. Can you leave this tab open on your screen? Are you going to be around?
Yeah.
Get real think about what they're doing.
Yeah.
Say, look, I'm going to walk away. I don't want to have to check in and constantly tell you I'm going to be here for over the next 5 minutes, because I know that could be annoying. Do you want to just leave? Are you going to be around? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to come back and your little screen's going to flash, right? So just check back in, and I'm going to come back and answer. Or hey, do you want me to email you or call you? You're a person, I'm a person. Let's get to the bottom of this, or let's figure this out. Let's hop on a call. Whatever this is, and it's not always about support. It's about sales. It's about getting demos. It's about driving revenue. So let's get it fixed. Let's get this going, and let's do it now. Mm-hmm. And that's the most important thing, because we want to scale ourselves and we want to do it as soon as we possibly can. And I think everyone in the room is going to be able to relate to some of those things.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, Chris, thanks for sharing with our audience. Hopefully your presentation is valuable for the audience down the way here in just a little bit. I'm sure it's going to be. So I appreciate you taking some time and sharing again with the B2B growth audience. For folks that want to reach out to you, stay connected. You've recently made a move, so why don't you let people know what would be the best way to reach out and stay connected with you?
So I'm over at Drift now, and you can find me, or you can shoot me an email at handy@drift.com. And I've got a new newsletter I'm starting at Drift. So I'll, if you want to be on that, just let me know. But you can always get in touch with me, handy@drift.com.
Awesome. Thanks for being on the show, Chris.
Thanks, Logan.
There are lots of ways to build a community, and we've chosen to build the B2B growth community through this podcast. But because of the way podcasts work, it's really hard to engage with our listeners. And without engagement, it's tough to build a great community. So here's what we've decided to do. We're organizing small dinners across the country with our listeners and guests. No sales pitches, no agenda, Just great conversations with like-minded people. We'll talk business, we'll talk family, we'll talk goals and dreams. We'll build friendships. So if you'd like to be a part of a B2B growth dinner in a city near you, go to b2bgrowthdinners.com. That's b2bgrowthdinners.com. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.